This portion of the Goodwill Games is brought to you by Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most. By Gillette Sensor for Women. Finally.
Charles back at the International Broadcast Center. Later in the show tonight, we'll bring you women's volleyball when the Americans take on the powerful Russian team. Meanwhile, though, a tremendous battle developed late in all-around gymnastics when American superstar Shannon Miller launched her bid to overtake her Russian counterpart. Let's go now to Kathy Johnson and Bart Connor.
Oksana Chusovitina from Uzbekistan. She's in 5th place in the all-around.
And she's a great vaulter. Front pike with a half twist.
What a landing. Wasn't that something?
It's worth a 9.9, and there were very few deductions in that ball. If any. If there are, they're tiny little ones. Maybe could have gone a little bit higher, but she got great distance and a near perfect landing.
So the score, 9.80 for Chusovitina. Excellent landing on that vault. The vault's worth a maximum of 9.9, so she was near perfect.
And she needs to repeat that effort if she hopes to move closer to the medals.
Currently 5th in the all-around.
She's performing the same vault again. Hoping for the same landing, I'm sure. Oh, no. She was a little forward off the board. I thought she was going to get a little too much rotation.
In her 4th and final performance here in the women's all-around competition, Shannon Miller came up with a terrific performance in the 3rd rotation on the balance beam when she needed it. Yesterday here, she had a 9.95 in the team competition. She's currently in 2nd place in the all-around, 32 thousandths of a point out of the lead.
Oh, a tiny little stumble backwards, but she handled it. Her competitive heart must be beating very strongly. This competition is so close. Every single landing is crucial.
Just as you said at the top of the show, these competitions have gotten more difficult for Shannon. She's grown a little bit. She's matured. And yet she seems to get better and better, doesn't she?
The new code of point allows her to perform these front tumbling skills and still get bonus points. So though they're not as dynamic as we might see from Kochetkova, they're enough. This one's going to be worth a 10. She needs a good landing, and it's perfect. As always, a lovely presentation. It's going to be the battle of the tumbling runs, I think.
Well, whether Shannon Miller wins the gold here today or not, she certainly can be proud of how well she performed. Watching her practice in the earlier sessions this week, you didn't know if she had it in her, but boy, did she come up strong here.
This is where she really had to fight for this landing. She was over-rotating just a little bit because she's working really hard to pull it around and kind of takes a large step backwards, but as I said, she handled it.
The score for Shannon Miller, a 9.912. That will put her in 1st place for the time being. Remember, Kochetkova has yet to go.
That's how you do it, just a little stuff, you know?
On the floor now, Dina Kochetkova needs more than a 9.88 to take the lead over Shannon Miller from the United States, and boy, she's great here.
Bart, there's no question she is the more dynamic tumbler of the two. Look at that double layout.
Just a little short on that landing.
But because of the code of points, it doesn't matter how much more dynamic you think her tumbling is. It's still only worth a 10, just like Shannon's was.
She was 3rd in the all-around at this year's World Championship. Shannon Miller was the champion.
her first pass. Kochetkova needs a perfect landing. And she got it.
Boy, she
It's hard to
nailed that.
say, Bart. It's a more difficult pass than what Shannon finished with. There's more difficult tumbling in there, but it's up to the judges now.
You said it's up to the judges. We are in Russia. Just a prediction?
I think she might have it, Bart. She had great difficulty throughout the routine. Look at this high double layout. Oh, this is the final tumbling run. Full twisting double back. A perfect landing.
We'll wait for the score for Kochetkova. She turned 17 just 4 days ago. Be a nice birthday present, a gold here at the Goodwill Games. Shannon Miller will wait. She currently holds on to the lead. 9.9. Dina Kochetkova gets the gold here. She beats Shannon Miller by 2/100ths of a point. Shannon Miller with a 9.912 on her final event on the floor exercise will earn the silver medal. Now the battle for the bronze is still up for grabs. As we said, the battle for third is tight. This is Podkopayeva on her vault. Oh!
Oh, no, it's a beautiful vault. Unfortunately, she completely misjudged the landing. Over-rotated, rather large step on the landing.
Chusovitina is currently holding on to third place.
You can admire, though, the perfect technique she uses. Completely straight arms on that landing onto the horse. Watch this. She's in the perfect position to block upward, gets into a completely straight body line, which is excellent. She just pulls her legs too far underneath her. And those are just huge deductions for the running steps out.
She would need to average more than a 9.631 to move into third place. It's going to be difficult now. 9.725 the score on the first vault for Podkopayeva. This is a tight battle for the bronze medal. Chusovitina currently holding on to the bronze medal at this point. But there are three other gymnasts that could take it from her. One of them is this young lady, Lilia Podkopayeva.
I'm a little surprised they went that high. It's a beautiful vault, and I'm sure that's what they were trying to give credit to, but you can't ignore the big steps at the end. Oh, and again, the same thing, an excellent vault.
Keep in mind, she got a terrific score on the first vault. Here on the second vault, she only needs a 9.537 to move into that bronze medal position at this point. Grosheva and Anna Maria Bican yet to go.
Watch again how beautiful the vault is, how excellent the position in the air, but there's no denying that is not a good landing. And they must take a deduction. It's typically at least a 10th of a point for each step, and those are large steps.
Elena Grosheva now on the floor exercise. She still has a shot at the bronze medal. She would need a 9, better than a 9.762 to bump Podkopayeva out of the bronze medal contention. She earned a 9.706 on the vault and bumped Chusovitina out. So everyone is in the hunt for the bronze now. The gold and the silver decided. Kochetkova getting the gold. Shannon Miller, of course, the silver for the United States.
Twisting front, one of the more difficult passes in women's gymnastics. You seldom see it. Beautiful double pike. Excellent landings throughout the whole routine. This is an exciting competition. Everything is so close.
Lovely finish for Yelena Grosheva. The Russian team have really treated us to some beautiful performances today. Lovely technique, style, execution, and power.
Here's her first pass. Now watch how she really attacks the landing. Actually, this is her final tumbling run. And every single landing, she really nailed it into the floor and just took the step into the lunge position.
Now up from Romania, Anna Maria Bican. As you see there, she needs a 9.912 to edge Grosheva out of the third place spot. The score for Grosheva was a 9.812.
That will be very difficult to do, Bart. That's the score that Shannon Miller received. Keep in mind, Shannon's a former world champion on this event. And good landing. So you have to look at the entire performance, the overall performance, and that's where Shannon scores so many points. She really combines beautiful choreography with adequate tumbling. It's enough to get all her bonus points. Oh, that's beautiful though. Triple twist.
Lovely finish and some terrific tumbling from Anna Maria Bican.
The judges really do have a difficult task, because if you just look at the tumbling and you say, well, this is more difficult and the landings were better, if you only judged on that, then the results might be different. It's very hard. It's important to keep in mind the overall performance and what makes it special. And what made this one special was this triple twist at the end of the routine.
A lot of power from Anna Maria Bican. We'll wait for her score. We'll get that when we come back. The score for Anna Maria Bican, a 9.762, will not be enough to move her into third. She will finish in 6th place. Now, in a competition that has been plagued by technical glitches, it's probably only fitting that in the final rotations, the judges inadvertently entered the wrong scores into the computer. It did not change the order of the results, but it did change the separation between the winners. Kochetkova, Miller, and Yelena Grosheva win. Congratulations to Shannon Miller. She certainly has to be very proud today. She came here at the age of 9 to learn from the Russian masters. 8 years later, she comes back as the world all-around champion. Today, she performed beautifully. Just came up slightly short of the gold. She should be proud she won the silver medal. And for the Russian team, Dina Kochetkova. Well, she beat Shannon Miller today. She outperformed her just by a little bit. As a matter of fact, by 57 one-thousandths of a point. Kochetkova treats herself to a belated 17th birthday present. Your final results here at Gymnastics: Kochetkova the gold, Shannon Miller by 57 thousandths of a point the silver, and Yelena Grosheva from Russia as well the bronze.
No doubt the Russians were brilliant, and no excuse for Shannon Miller, Fred, but she really was at a physical disadvantage. She grew 4 inches, and he represents the cream of the crop at these games. Now only the best get a chance to strut their stuff at what they do best. Ironically, though, American superstar Shannon Miller looked wobbly on her best event, the balance beam, and failed to qualify, but was entered today by her coach in place of the injured Jenny Thompson. Miller and the others will have their opportunities to come shining through again tonight. So let's go now to Bart Connor and Kathy Johnson for the story.